up, everybody? Here's Listen, welcome in for alle Mannschaft fans of Manchester United bis Deutschland. It's your boy, the Trini boy, Mark and MUFC fan. You know what it is. It's the match preview, and it's Friday, of course. No transfer talk today, but there will be some transfer updates tomorrow morning. I promise you guys. Right now, we're talking Manchester United versus Arsenal. It's the Red Devils versus the Gunners. Guys, what's going on? Benjamin Sesko versus Victor Gyökeres. And guys, at the beginning of the summer, we thought Gyökeres was going to be leading our line, and Sesko was their top target. And now the roles have been swapped. And which striker will see the dominance? It's left to be seen. Which team will boast the better performance? It's also left to be seen. But we're Manchester United fans, guys. And while we are here, we support Man United. And of course, we made some very interesting signings, bringing some experience into a young attack that did not have what it took to get us through some of the tough games and tough times on the March of last season. When the business end comes around this season, we can look to faces like Bruno Fernandes. We can look to faces like Brian Mbumo. We can look to faces like Matthias Cunha. And we can definitely look to other faces after that, like Ahmad and all the guys who will be coming off the bench, possibly to throw in and pitch in and step up and take over in the moments during AFCON and such and such and so forth, guys. The interesting thing is the starting lineup news that we have been hearing about, guys. And right about now, we've been hearing that Manchester United is about to put that number nine, who's going to wear the big number 30 in that starting lineup. Ruben Amorim confirming that he is ready and he is fit and he's ready to start against the big teams. And right now, it looks like it's going to be Sesko versus Gyökeres. Who is going to have the better performance on their debut in the league at Old Trafford? Gyökeres is debuting in the Prem at Old Trafford. And of course, Sesko is leading the line for the Red Devils. So, guys, what are your thoughts? Big up to you, Frankie. Glory, glory, Man United in the building. Shout out to Rick Mank as well. Shout outs to Hayden in the building. Big up to Box in the building. Guys, it's been an interesting one, interesting summer. Of course, I will touch on everyone's fears. Everyone is thinking about the midfield issues because of the reports on the possibility of Man United walking away from signing Belieber. But like I told you guys about Sesko, chill. Man United made him their priority. Do you think they would walk away just like that? Relax. Let's talk about the game on Saturday. You know what I mean? There are much more things to do with your Friday than to live in despair and thoughts. And you know what? 48 hours, it might just be deal done or deal on. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, let's focus on Sunday. We got a big game. We got to kick off the season right. Grab your drinks, toast to Man United kicking off the Prem at home at Old Trafford in fine style with some amazing attacking signings. And of course, the starting lineup is supposed to be looking something like Altai buying there in goal because Onana, while he is just about returning from fitness, he's not fully fit yet. So reports are Altai there will be starting in goal for Manchester United. Of course, we're going to see a back three part, most certainly of the likes of Lenny Euro. Of course, in center is going to be Delit as well. And you know, guys, it might be interesting on the left side because it might just be Eden Haven. Of course, Luke Shaw could be making a start, but I'm counting on the fact that Eden Haven has shown some very consistent performances, and it might be better to start Eden Haven against Arsenal because of the fire he will have inside. So it will be interesting to see what's going on. Of course, on the left wing back option, we're going to have Dorgu starting. Then we're going to have in the midfield, there are reports that Mason Mount will be dropping into that deep midfield role, and apparently he's going to be playing next to Casemiro in the midfield. I know some people think it might be Ugarte, but I have a strong feeling Casemiro is going to be the starting CDM in this game. And of course, on his right hand side, it's going to be Ahmad Diallo at the right wing back position, guys. And of course, up front, the front three. I am hearing that Mbumo is possibly going to come on during the game. and it's going to be Bruno and Cunha in the 10 roles, all behind Benjamin Sesko. Let's see if I'm right about this. But I'm not going to just say this by myself. This is what I've been hearing about the starting lineup in this situation. Of course, we think that as well. I think he's best off the pitch, but you know what I mean. There are reports, of course. If that report is not true, then Bruno will be playing in the 8 role, and of course, Brian Mbeumo will be starting in the 10. I'm gonna drop the link, guys, because I think the match previews are about the fans, and I wanted to do something new. I wanted to make you guys feel more, in with the show of match previews. Like it's not just gonna be me and the panelists talking about what we think's gonna happen in the games anymore. I think it will be much more fun if we invite you guys into the show. So I'm gonna bring Bali Tech into the building so Bali could give you guys his opinion on what's. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to do this one more time. Hold on, bro. But yeah, let me bring Bali into the building. Of course, Bali's gonna give you guys his opinion on what's going on with this game. And of course, guys, if you would like to come in, I'm going to drop the link. You could come in, have your say, give your opinions on the game as well. It's going to be interesting to hear your thoughts and opinions on who you think, what's the score line, such things like that. Shout out to Bali Tech in the building. Bro, what's your opinions for this weekend?
Yo, 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 big up to the chat. Have no fear, Bally Tech is here. Yeah, I kind of feel like the manager, for whatever strange reason, is going to start Luke Shaw. I just have this feeling that he's going to start him against Arsenal. I'm thinking he's going to go with the experience. Then this is not what I want personally, but I think that's what he's going to do. He has his leadership group, so I would expect leadership group players to be starting in a big game against Arsenal. I'm not sure. I have a feeling that they're not going to be dropped for this type of game. He did say that Mazraoui's out, and I think he said that Leach is out. So it's whoever can fit into the team. He might play Dallo. He is a part of his leadership group. Um, and yeah, I wouldn't advise them to drop him Bumo, but fair enough. If they drop him, they drop him. Just make sure you guys handle the business while I don't. Why would Mason Mount play as a midfielder? That just a bit weird to me. I ain't gonna lie.
Broski, I wouldn't lie. I would be Mason Mount be starting in our lineup at any given point. I would be in a quadri to be stand confused, to be honest. I can't even get my words together on that one because I think that player doesn't deserve to start in the Man United team. He's not
I
even
mean,
better than
if,
anything that we have in the number 10 role, to be fair. So
if he ends up starting, I just pray we don't lose the game because losing the opening game, it's not the end of the world, but it is a bit of a blow. So, and we're at home. I expect this manager to solve the home issues from last year because I feel like we lost a lot of games at Old Trafford, and he's supposed to turn Old Trafford into a fortress. So to lose the first game would definitely be a blow, even if it doesn't define our whole season. So hopefully he doesn't lose and he's able to eke out a victory because I'd love nothing more than to send these bastards packing with no points.
to be honest, kind of agree with Box here. Box saying Amarim suggesting Mount as a CM suggests to me that he's very worried about the CM position. He doesn't know how to solve the issue. Yeah, that's going to be weird. You know what I mean? I mean, Box, this one, I don't think it's that weird. Casemiro starting in this game. Casemiro's been looking the fittest I've ever seen him in years. And I'll be honest with you guys, you know what I mean? We don't need the quickest players against Arsenal. Their midfield is not that quick anymore. You know what I mean? They have the likes of Declan Rice. So they are fit. They have Subamendi, who I think is we've seen Subamendi against Casemiro, bro. Casemiro looks better than Subamendi. And even if you're on the same Europe, Subamendi was in Europe and he played in the Prem. Same players against the same player. You know what I mean? So it's not the best. But I expect Man United to have a strong start to the season in this game, in this particular game. I can't say that we'll beat Liverpool yet or we'll beat Man City, but we have a history of beating Arsenal at home. And we have a young striker that come in here to prove a point against a team that tried to sign him and then sign Victor Gyökeres. Now Victor Gyökeres is coming to play against his former manager who will know certain things about him. Now, while he will know certain things about him, he might not truly be able to have the defense to deal with him unless these players step up, whoever playing in the defense. If Luke Shaw starts, I'll be a bit worried about that side of the pitch because I think he's a clown with a joke waiting to happen at some point in time. But at the same time, I would look at it from the perspective that if we have a Ugarte on the pitch or Casemiro, I think Victor Gyökeres would have a hard time getting the enjoyment of the ball that he would like. And with the threat of Benjamin Sesko, Matthias Cunha, and Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad, I think Arsenal are going to have their hands full in this game. You know, it might be a shock start to start Joshua Zirkzee because Joshua Zirkzee had his way with Saliba and these guys. So it might be interesting. Might be interesting. Frankie says Euro might have Gyökeres in his pocket. You know what I mean? Guaranteed. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of different opinions here, and I mean, you know, guys, I'm a very positive Manchester United fan. I would be saying something like Man United probably will going to sneak a victory here in this game. And of course, I the reason why I would be a little bit more positive about Man United taking a victory in this game is because of the factors, the context of this game. We have players who coming in and need to make an impact. We have players who coming in and they have it's like a grudge. At the same time we have players in the team who had a poor season and they need to show a strong showing, not just to us, but to the board, because some of these guys are on the clock. And if the clock and ticking right, they could be on their way out in January. So it's going to be very interesting. I think our midfield is not as weak as we think it is. I think we were more terrible last season because of the fact that the team was learning a brand new system. And when you're learning a brand new system and to play a brand new formation in the best league in the world against teams who were not doing anything of that sort, anything close to that, you're going to have a struggle. So, guys, while we were terrible last season and the midfield was weak, our midfield has learned what they have to do to an extent in this formation, what they have to do to an extent in this system by now, from trial and error, 63 games long and counting. And I think they're going to show you guys a different performance this season. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to be amazingly good, but I definitely think that Man United is going to be definitely competing for top six this season, even before we sign Carlos Believer. That's just my honest opinion. Also, when you think about the CM weaker, Ericsson has departed and Collier has loaned at West Brom. Kone will need to have time out after that head injury too, and surely we sign a CM. Well, this is what I'm saying, Box. You know what I mean? It will be interesting. Frankie says before we experience crazy Ineos purchases, I would have said we were losing, but after seeing what they are capable of, I changed my mind. Good game, Man United, all the way for the win. You know, Frankie, it's an interesting one. No midfielder, GK. Amarim sacked before Christmas compost. I think that's a bit extreme. I think that's a bit extreme. I think everybody need to take a step back, compost. I'm not trying to offend anyone. But bro, you trusted me on the Sesko signing, but trust me now. I believe everybody going off of the impression of Man United was poor last season. But you see, the problem with that is everyone expected Man United to immediately play a 3-4-3 formation. It is unheard of. A 3-4-3 formation has nothing to do with a 4-4-3. The lines, the zones, everything is different. The gaps are huge. You know what I mean? I watched last season Compost, but understand what I'm telling you. You never start. You ever when you became whatever your occupation is. Let me say I was an engineer. I was a student once going to university. Yeah, I'll tell you a story, Campus. Yeah, I used to play football and I broke my ankle, and I thought I had nothing else to go on, and I decided to go and do music. And I used to ditch music school. So when I got this scholarship because I a little bit intelligent, and I went to music school. I had to learn music 101. I had to go and take lessons, bro. Yeah. And because I was taking lessons, I had to do extra classes. I had to be in school for 5 hours longer than every other student in my class, bro. And I still had to keep up with them in class. Yeah. And I still get my degree. So, you know what I mean? Finish at the top of the class too, bro, to be honest. So all I'm saying is, when you start off things, sometimes you struggle. Not everybody is a genius. Not everybody is a generational talent. Not everybody have the world-class ability. You know what I mean? We had a lot of young players in our starting lineup last season who was leading the line in attack. Ahmad, Garnacho, and Hoyland, all of them are young, inexperienced players, bro. They was leading the line last season. More than 30 games they play leading the line. Youth men with no sort of super backbone, no sort of killer mentality. None. None of them have that. Not even Ahmad. So when you replace those things with a player who might be young but have 4 seasons experience scoring goals, leading the line in UCL for teams he's played for, he's been leading the line for his national team since he's been 19. It's a whole different realm, and he's a goal scorer. He's prolific. And then you have Cunha, and you have Mbumo. That those three situations coming to this club changes things drastically for Man United. Teams are not going to just have to worry about Bruno anymore. They have to worry about 4 of those players constantly. Constantly. You understand? So when people think that that last season we were so bad and teams are so much better than us, no, those teams were not so much better than us. We were just poor. We were just very poor in our
Al-
execution when learning a new system and tactics and formation. It's
Also,
normal,
to a
guys.
certain,
It's normal.
al-
Trust me.
also to a certain extent, it wasn't a level playing field. It wasn't really a level playing field because if you take like all the best players out of Liverpool's attack, do they still win the league? Do they get top four? Do they get top six? If you take Mo Salah and them out of the team, like how we had Rashford and them out of the team, yeah, you take all them man out of the team, the Anthony's and all of this, Diaz, what would be maybe a Diaz out of the team of Liverpool, they don't win the league without these brothers. If you take Gakpo away, they don't win the league. So to a certain extent, we didn't have a proper attack. And then we had a kid that obviously lacks. We were unable to, like mask his deficiencies. So
Bro, listen, yeah. I needed to get over this kid, bro. Swear, he's a kid. Get
no,
it over.
no,
Move
no.
on. He
I'm not.
failed
I'm
last
not.
season, but move on, bro. Because
No, no, forget
it
all
have
that.
more than enough
Forget
players in the squad, bro.
no, Mark.
Hear me out, bro.
I wasn't even gonna go on and on. All I was saying was unable to mask his deficiencies. I
It
was
have
moving
many
on.
deficiencies than the players who are playing
Yeah,
up
yeah,
front
yeah.
last
I don't.
season.
Yeah, yeah. That's
All of
cool,
them.
but just let me run. Just let me run in it. I weren't gonna say nothing more. I was just gonna talk about the attack and how the attack was. Yeah, and say that we were playing with kids. Yeah, that's it. Before you jump down my throat, bruv. I weren't even gonna talk about the brother like that.
Bro, I have PTSD, you know. I know you
Nah,
guys,
fuck
bro.
your
You guys want
PTSD,
to
bruv.
kill this guy real bad.
Nah, nah,
No,
he's already dead. I don't care about it no more. For real. We've got all I'm saying to the man them is we've got a new strike force now. We've got a killer in Brumo. Yeah. The man them are saying in training that this brother is vicious. Yeah. When it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, one touch finish, boom. Yeah. The guy is highly accurate, very efficient with his shooting, very efficient with his crossing, does the right thing at the right time. And to be fair to you, Him with Sesko, these man appreciating balls over the top and things like that. These man are going to help us. Then we've got the Maverick and Cunha. As far as I'm concerned, yes, we don't have Baleba at this point in time, but did we really need all of that to beat Arsenal? We've beaten Arsenal in the past with way less. With way less. Yeah, the
Bro,
forward line
listen,
has
yeah.
improved. Like, the forward line has improved 10x, bruv, from what we had last season. 10x. Yeah, in every position. So
Guys,
as far as I'm
sorry, bro.
concerned, we're ready. We're ready.
I mean, listen, yeah. For one, Maro, shout out to you, broski. Big up to you, bro. I'm not talking about Belieber because I have updates about Belieber to come tomorrow. Now, what I could say to you guys is it's not entirely true that Man United are not signing a midfielder. And it's not entirely true that Man United are not going to sign Belieber. The deal is extremely difficult. We had a bid rejected, so what? It's not the end of the world, guys. And like I told you guys about Benjamin Sesko, relax. A lot of people just run with stories, run with things, and all of a sudden they just go into this hyper depressive state. It's like people getting this exaggerated issue about the midfield. It's like, yo, the midfield is not perfect by any means. Yeah. But last season, if you cannot see, if a team supposed to play a formation and system perfectly, yeah, brand new formation system perfectly in the first season, just because another team doing it. That team don't have the same players. One, they don't have the same coach. They don't have the same pressure. All these things affect situations. And of course, the midfield was poor last season, but it was poor because it was playing a back three formation. It was not meant for that. It had to learn how to do that. And of course, the three defenders had to learn how to play a back three. Some of them never play a back three in their life. So why saying this, guys? You gotta take it a little bit, take a few steps back. Teams were not genuinely better than Man United. Man United was just genuinely not good last season because we was learning. And when you're learning in the toughest league in the world, the best league in the world, of course you're going to get some bangs. You're going to get roughed up. You understand, guys? So, I mean, you guys know I back Eric Ten Hag. So if I try to tell you guys, get Amarim a little chance, yeah, I mean, it's as some people thought I was Amarim out from last season. So I was just upset about certain things, but I've seen some things in preseason, guys. While some people think we may not be getting Belieber, whatever, right? Forget Belieber for a second. Our team has made genuine strides of improvement in all facets. Playing together, playing together in this formation, playing in this system, right? And I could tell you something, guys. We like I told you guys from the beginning of the summer, you gotta relax. You know what I mean? Why men going into all these negative and assuming all these things? Like, since when the believer story is spin? Since when? Since when? And why should they do everything the fans want to do? Understand what I'm saying, guys? All of a sudden, Casemiro is supposed to be gone. What for? What? Does anyone expect Man United to transfer out 8 players in our window? Sign 8 players in our window? I told you guys before the summer, 4, 5, maybe if we get lucky, 6. Why you man them furious already? Yeah, the window is not done. There's time. So because Belieber is not here to start against Arsenal, man them want to violate. Man them want to crash out. The season didn't begin yet. Relax. Let me see a ball kick before you defeat the whole season. It's wild. It's wild right now, guys. Trust me. You know what I mean? And what I would say to you guys, you're not doing yourselves a justice because I mean, nobody thought we was going to sign a brand new attack this summer. Everybody knew our striker was priority, but we buy 2 10s. And we buy a top striker. And definitely a major problem last season was scoring goals. So since when, the funny thing is I would like to find out from you guys if you guys don't think this is correct. Offense, start scoring goals consistently, multiple goals a game. That would definitely take pressure off the midfield, and in so doing, take pressure off the defense. And so doing, it will also improve the coordination between the defense, the midfield, and offense. So it's just one of those things. Because a lot of times when I look at games last season, Man United had many chances where they broke away and they could have been one-on-one with our goalkeeper, but we didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And this is sometimes two, three, four, five chances before the other team even have a clear chance at our goal. And those are the games that we lost. But this season, we have a guy like Matthias Cunha. We have a guy like Brandon Bomo. We have Benjamin Sesko. And you guys telling me that we're not going to score some goals this season? Raw, raw. You guys feeling okay today? Guys, I thought you trusted me. What's all this negativity on we not signing believer? Like as far as I know, Man United hasn't left negotiations completely. So the reason why I'm not talking about believer because we're talking about Man United versus Arsenal. Why stress, guys? Come on.
I think all of this. I think obviously to hear this news, and then obviously we got Arsenal at weekend. Then obviously if you're like me and you know a few Arsenal fans, a lot of these Arsenal fans feel like they're gonna beat Man United. A lot of them feel very confident. Now, maybe they feel very confident because they've seen Jokeres banging a header and they've got gassed about it, and now they feel like, okay, he's ready to score against his old club. But the manager knows his strengths, the manager knows his weaknesses. They would have been preparing all week for Jokeres, and I just feel like we're gonna tie him up in the game. He ain't gonna do shit, and Arsenal fans are gonna be crashing out at the end, saying, "Oh, this guy's a fraud" and whatnot. You already know what's gonna happen. Meanwhile, it's gonna compound. Bless me. It's gonna compound because man like
Is it
Sesko, thanks. Man like Sesko, Sesko's gonna do his thing. Sesko's got a bone to pick with the way Arsenal negotiated the initial deal. And he's ready. The manager, what did the manager say about Sesko earlier? He said
Manja said
what
that
was,
I
yeah.
believe he said he's ready, he's fully fit and prepared to play against the top teams.
Mm. And
So
he was praising him, saying how smart he is, and he's
exactly,
willing to put in the extra work and everything else. He's willing to go and do recovery on his own and everything else. So big up to Sesko. Sesko wants to bitch slap Arsenal this weekend. Yeah, you man,
broski.
you just have to get behind the players. Yeah, especially Sesko. Yeah, because
Not
Sesko
only,
ain't never played in the Premier League before. Yeah, and I promise you, yeah, this guy is gonna give Arsenal the what for come Sunday. Bro, I back Sesko to get a score on his debut. Yeah, I back Sesko
listen, yeah.
and Mbumo to score.
Who is play kick? Listen, guys. S- Palace, Palace, Newcastle. I mean, in the history of football, or in the last decade, Newcastle only ever finished above United once. In the last decade, Newcastle only ever beat United back to back ever in one season. As a matter of fact, it hadn't happened in decades. This is the first time it happened. Listen, I don't understand this prediction of we behind. There's no actual sample size to say that we behind. Everybody going off a season where the team was in a transition. The team in a transition from playing a 4-4-3. All the players we buy last summer was meant to play a 4-4-3. And you know what's so funny? You know what's the funniest thing? Here's the funniest thing about Balitek. Everybody said they buy Ugarte in preparation for Ruben Amorim. You understand?
Mm.
So now who looking like mad people now? Only people who say Ugarte was not for Ten Hag. No, he not for Amarim neither, right? Because apparently he know he don't worth nothing in midfield. Understand what I'm saying about Balitech? Because
Mm.
I hear lots of conversation about how terrible Ugarte is and how terrible this player. But man, them these same man them was saying that these players were bought with Amarim in mind. So
Me personally, I'm not signing up to the whole idea that Ugarte is a terrible player. He's not a terrible player. I think the problem is that we don't have the complete midfield that we've brought him into. We've just bought
exactly.
him. We've just bought him, and we've just thrown him in there without a complete midfield. At the end of the day, yeah, he doesn't have the
Energy
the
around him
capacity.
like he should.
Yeah, he doesn't have the thing around him. If anything, if you was to pair him with a Carlos Baleba, we would have a monstrous midfield.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but not only that though, but understand what I want to tell people here, right? A lot of people is say to people is say Bruno in the midfield role supposed to play a control role and he's supposed to be fixated here. A lot of them is the manager, but Ruben Amorim himself said he give Bruno a free role in midfield to roam. So
yeah,
all these people is talk about Bruno not staying in his position when the manager tell him not to stay in his position. And they'll be saying, well, they know ball, but they don't know nothing. Because they
every
don't know what the
manager,
manager telling these players to do. The
every
directions, the
manager
instructions.
gives him a free roll. Every single manager.
Exactly.
Every
Why?
single manager, because they know what he's capable of in the final third, and they know that if he's not adding what he's adding to the final third and using his work rate other places, then the team's going to be lacking. So you have to understand, if you got Bruno in a fixed position, you know you're nerfing all the pretty much the goals and assists, apart from the ones that we're getting from set plays, you're literally nerfing the team's attacking fortitude going forward. And you have to, what one thing you lot have to understand there is that Bruno was responsible for at least half of the goals that we scored in the Premier League last year. Yes, it was a poor campaign, but if you had fixed him in a position where he wasn't able to roam around and do his thing, we would have got probably had 20 goals less. Yeah.
Bro.
So for us to have 20 goals less, that's to me that's relegation settings. Yeah. We were borderline, we weren't gonna get relegated last year. But if you take 20 goals away from this team, yeah, that's relegation. I don't care what anybody says. That's
Not only
relegation.
that, yeah, but they can't play brute. Listen, yeah, guys, hear me out on this, yeah, guys. Football is a serious thing, and it don't ever work like when the strikers not scoring, they are the fallback on midfielders. Football don't never work like that. It's not a computer. There's no backwards compatibility here. Yeah, and I understand Bruno might. A lot of people don't consider Bruno a midfielder, but you see. My thing is when you have Bruno having to carry Kobe Menu, he had to carry Amad Diallo, he had to carry Garnacho, he had to carry Hoyland for 30, 40, for 30 games a season, 2 seasons back to back. Well, they still expect this man to be a midfielder. He had to defend. He had to keep the team together in formation. He had to tell men to make runs whole game. Yeah, because them men static. Yeah. Just watch the pass Bumo gave to Ahmad in preseason, and Ahmad stop in the box en route to goal and wait for the defender to pass the ball. Luckily, defender make a poor tackle and we win a penalty, but poor decisions from young players. You can't expect Bruno to carry these guys and be the best player on the pitch every single game. Is Ahmad? That is a little bit too much to ask. Because when you compare him to Kevin De Bruyne and all these guys, he had to carry these four youth men every game. And still, he outshining, he outperforming all these guys on GA and output. And then we'll say he's scumbagging it. And he's just a merchant. But now that you give Bruno a hard working 10, really, in my opinion, is more like a hybrid 8-10. Matthias Cunha, because of his ability to drive with the ball, him and then Boomer alongside Bruno changes our midfield dynamic entirely. And a lot of people not allowing this to fully work in. They're watching 2, 3 games and expecting it to work immediately. And this is because a lot of people have an assumption that when preseason training start, for the first month they's be doing ball work and drills and team shape and all these. They don't do none of that for the first month of preseason. They just run, jogging, running sprints, jogging, running sprints for 4 weeks straight. Jogging, running sprints and stretches. Warm down, cool down. Private ball work, extras. And then 2 weeks before preseason game one, they start doing team training, actual training on the ball. Yeah, well, this is why you see, this is the thing, Drex. But you guys not giving Ugarte a player at Man United. I just want everybody to understand. At Man United, a player is given 1 season to work in this team, else everybody is go off into a mode where the player is shit. Because Ugarte only spent a season at Man United. I don't understand why everybody acting like he's supposed to be complimenting Bruno already. Sometimes it does take a while to get chemistry. Sometimes it take months. Sometimes it take more than 1 season. You understand? And you're bringing Ugarte to play a back four, and then he had to switch to a back three. So it's one of these things. Yes, he did play it before, but when they get used to a back four, it's a whole different concept, guys.
Plus, I believe he'll be very useful if he's playing alongside a guy that knows what that he's doing. Like
Exactly.
if you're playing this man get with a guy that is very good at the position and knows what he's doing, I promise you, you're gonna love both of them, right? Because we know that Ugarte is a workhorse, he's a tackler, and he likes to win the ball high up the pitch. And if his partner can eat up the yards, eat up the ground like we need in our midfield, then I promise you, bro, no one's going to be telling us that you got is this and that again. But the problem is when you buy certain man and you put them, you just drop them in the team, they're going to look real bad because the people next to them ain't that good either, if that makes
Exactly.
any sense.
Exactly. And you can't have too many young players in a team, guys. It don't work. You don't have the experience that is know they how to get this job done. That men just want to do all kind of crazy things week in, week out. And I know Drex, I know you guys kind of not understanding what I'm saying, but when you complain about our midfield being so open last season, last season when the team was playing a formation and a system they don't even know. Some of them is the first time they play in a back three. You can't really criticize a team midfield like that. You can't really do that because the sample size is not there. This man was playing a back three formation in the teams that they come to Manchester United from. Yeah, seasons before. Then we could have an argument here for how bad the team is and how rubbish the midfield. Yeah, but even then the midfield has been shite. Compost. The midfield has been shite for years, but I never stopped you from finishing second and third and playing couple cup finals. Nothing is perfect, guys. Matic was kind of past his prime when he came to United, guys. I don't know about you guys, but when we get Matic, he was not the Matic at Chelsea. He was close, but he used to get injured a lot. Herrera was a beast.
I think he gave us one solid season, and that was about it.
Exactly. Herrera was the man we should have never sell. But what I'm gonna tell you guys, what I will say is, guys, that I definitely think we will see our improvement in our midfield performance in the first game of the season and moving onwards even better. I actually think that there is a surprise in store for Man United's transfer window yet to come still. I know I always told everyone Sen Lamens a deal Man United could trigger, and they possibly will trigger the end of the window. The Donnarumma situation was just an opportunity. It was never a priority to sign Donnarumma. Never. Yeah, I don't know what everybody thought, but if y'all were listening to me, y'all would know that Donnarumma was a pure opportunity. And if we could have taken it, we would have. But our priorities at that time, when the deal came up to being having to be done, was Belieber. And I telling you guys, we are not walking away from this Belieber deal just like that. So all I can say, yes, you could ask for a beefed up midfield, but we got midfielders into the club last season. The guy ain't even had a time to really stamp himself on the team yet, and you want more. Not saying Man United not trying to give you all more. They're trying to sign Belieber. I don't know what you guys want to believe, but if you guys want to believe it, we're not signing Belieber, then cool. But at the
And
same
plus,
time,
football's a squad game, yeah. So
exactly that Kobe Menu.
If Believer comes into the squad, right, and let's say he's starting with Bruno, right? What? Let's say the manager has decided, okay, I wanna rest Belieber now for the next game. Let me bring him off with 20 minutes to go. Put on your guy. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. But I
Like
just saying,
football's a squad game. Like he might not be the guy who ends up starting, but he can definitely do us a very serviceable job. So I don't think he's a diabolical midfielder. I actually think there are far more diabolical players in the team that we haven't even got rid of yet, that we haven't even touched on. But
right?
it is what
I,
it is.
I just want to put this out there, guys. Let me tell you all something, yeah? You see, if Brighton will sell Belieber to Man United for 100, let's say 100 to 110 million pounds, they will never get 100 million pounds in no currency for Belieber again. They will not get 100 million euros. They will not get 100 million franc. They will not get 100 million pounds. They're not getting it. Because next summer, I'll go and tell all in now. Next summer, when clubs come into bid, like Real Madrid, they coming into bid 60 million and thing. Yeah. So I just telling you now, you could believe that Brighton is long. Yeah. But let me tell you, they will, anytime they snub United, which I doubt will happen because I have a feeling that Brighton going on a greedy deal. But at the same time, I'll just say it like this: Brighton can negotiate, Man United will negotiate. The player contacted Man United through intermediaries. Man United didn't contact him. He contacted Man United. I just want you all to understand. So while Brighton could play all they want, the player wants to move and he wants to come to Man United. And remember, I told you guys that today. You know what I mean? We'll see. What was a better midfield, Matic and Matic, Herrera, Pogba, or Fred McTominay, Bruno? I mean,
I rather Pogba
I would have take out
and Matic.
Matic. I would have take out Matic and put. I would have take out Matic and Fred and put Bruno, Pogba, and Herrera. Bruno, Pogba, and Herrera would be the strongest midfield combination there, in my honest opinion,
Bruno,
because I
Pogba,
think
Herrera.
I think Bruno is and Pogba would have made the best partnership, and I think Herrera would just do all the dirty work for them to thrive, and it would be long for other teams, in my honest opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, it's an interesting one. Of course, I wish that I could have give you a better news on Belieber, but I'm just telling you guys what I've heard and what I've read and what has been reported. I know a lot. There's lots of reports saying that we are not signing Belieber. But sometimes there's always a calm before the storm, and sometimes there's a storm before the calm. So
Or
it's
you
not like
saying
we've not seen it.
all the
Huh?
man them are not believers no more? They're not believers no more.
Well, I mean, there was a time when they did think that Man United was no longer signing Benjamin Sesko. I don't know if you guys remember. There was
So
also a time when
they
they
drank the
thought
Kool Aid.
Spurs. I mean, there's also a time when they thought Spurs was signing Mbumo as well. But I mean, who am I to say that
Yeah,
they are wrong?
yeah.
Again, for a third time, who am I to say that they are wrong? I'm
You
just
know the
gonna
thing
say
is, yeah, yeah. I
that
would say this, yeah, that Man United have only put in one bid. Like we bid quite a few times for Mbumo. With Cunha, it was just a release clause situation, and I think the Sesco deal was that one bid or two. I
It
can't
was
remember.
two.
Mark.
It
It
was
was
two.
two bids. So you can't expect United to just completely walk away. Oh yeah, we'll give you 70 plus 10. Oh yeah, yeah, okay. They didn't agree. So that means they weren't trying to get him in the first place then if they just walk away from their opening bid. Yeah. They will definitely put in extra bids. It's whether Brighton will accept the second or the third bid. Yeah. That is it really. The season's gonna start. I think the transfer we still got a few, I think 13 days left
I
to
mean,
sort this out. So Man United gotta make sure that the second bid counts to
Bucks,
something.
Bucks, Compost, guys. I just wanted to say this one thing. Watch this list of guys you're looking at here. Crystal Palace want 90 million plus add-ons for Wharton. So he already on the same price as Baliba. He go be 100 mil. I guarantee y'all. I'm not asking, I'm telling y'all. Crystal Palace not taking anything less than 90 to 100 million for Wharton. So just one argument. The fact that people pivot into these guys, right? That's just one argument. I'm putting that one there. Morton Humelon has a 90 something million euro release clause at Sporting, right? Yeah. Now, we're not going to sign Baliba, who's 4 or 5 years younger, but we're going to sign this guy for 10 million less. Nah, I don't believe that, guys. However, Lamine Kamara is an interesting topic. But then again, guys, I don't know what to say. I talked about Kamara earlier on in the window. It's an interesting player. Man United does have looked at the players as an alternative signing, but they're not
What
yet
about Hackney?
convinced. Huh?
What's happening with Hackney?
Well, currently, I have no news on Hackney. To be honest, I'm not too sure if he's completed the deal with Ipswich. But from what I'm hearing, is Man United have not triggered the hijack as they should. So I don't know. All focus was on Sesko and from Sesko straight to Believer. So for the last couple of days, they have been keeping tabs on situations, but they have not made any moves because they're so focused on trying to get this Believer deal done. A lot of higher ups are backing Ruben Amorim to sign the deal, to sign Believer. But again, it's left to be seen if Man United go back in with another bid. If Brighton accepts, let's see how it goes. I tell everyone 78 million plus 22 million pounds in add-ons might be a strong contender for here we go on over the weekend. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, guys. But tomorrow, transfer updates in the morning. Of course, I'll be live very early. And if you guys have time, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. Come in and when you wake up and have the coffee, I will be there. So shout outs to you guys. I left the link if you guys wanted to call in, but no one wanted to call in but Bali. And of course, guys, we will be back this weekend. There's some watch alongs, and I'm going to be co hosting some watch alongs on Saturday at some point with my buddy Strasbourg Steve, and of course, the watch along Man United versus Arsenal. You're going to get it live here. Your boy Bali Tech, Marken, everyone. Hopefully, Steph will be here as well, and Box, and the rest of you guys, Compost as well. Hopefully, Fred the Red will pop up as well. Admiral Drex, hopefully he will be here. I don't know, but if hopefully you'll be here. Prince Ed, I'll see you again, broski. Shout outs to all you guys. Thank you guys for spending your Friday afternoon with me and Bali. But you know what? In my honest opinion, before I go, I'm gonna say this: Man United 3, Arsenal 2. Sesko hat trick incoming. Bruno 2 assists, one from Brian and Bumo. It's gonna be an interesting game. I don't know what Bali Tech's prediction is for the game, but guys, just before I go, please drop all of your predictions in the chat so I can save them and we can discuss them at the match preview at the beginning of the game as well again on Sunday afternoon. Shout outs to Compost. Shout outs to Stephanie. Guys, don't forget to drop your match predictions. Even if it's in the non-live section, please drop them. Bali, before we go, what's your prediction for the game, bro? I think he's gone. Well, it seems like I'm closing by myself, guys. You know it is. All good in the hood. Your boy Marken is there. And of course, Bali Tech was as well. Shout outs to each and every one of you. Catch you guys later. It's been a great one.